Korean juggernaut Samsung was dealt a rare, humbling blow after the fiery and unexpected end of the Galaxy Note 7. Despite being one of the best big-screen, small-body phones that we've ever tested, battery faults and a bungled recall and shook consumer confidence in the brand. Samsung knows that the Galaxy S8 and the S8 Plus needs to be absolutely flawless to regain the trust of many of their loyal fans who were affected by the Note 7 recall, and to show the world that they still have what it takes to make the best mobile devices on Earth. After spending quite a bit of time with both the Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus, we think that Samsung absolutely nailed it. Not only did they build on the design language that made the Galaxy Note 7 such a joy to use even with its large display, they also managed to flawlessly implement a couple of new tricks along the way. It seems that each year, Samsung has managed to up the ante when it comes to creating innovative, cutting-edge devices, and one look at the new phones confirms what we felt during our time with the new devices. Samsung's back. One of the things that we really liked about the Galaxy Note 7 when we reviewed it last year was how small it was considering the screen real estate you get. Samsung's use of the QHD Edge-to-Edge Super AMOLED panel gave the phone a display 5.7 inches big while retaining the size of a 5.5-inch phone. This is pretty much the same playbook that Samsung followed with the Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus, but at a bigger scale. Samsung decided to forego many of their trademark design cues to squeeze the most amount of screen in the smallest space possible. Samsung's removed their trademark physical Android navigation buttons and fingerprint scanner on the bottom of the phone's chin to give the front of the device more space for the Super AMOLED display. Even Samsung's front logo wasn't spared, but the end result was worth it. A massive edge-to-edge display, dubbed the Infinity Display, squeezed between a top and bottom bezel that's only a few millimeters thick. The result, the Galaxy S8 has a 5-inch panel in a space that's no bigger than the Galaxy S7, a phone, may we remind you, that has a 5.1-inch display. That's a size difference of 0.7 inches. The Galaxy S8 has a bigger screen than most phones today, despite having a body that's smaller than a majority of the devices being offered by their competitors. Samsung has managed to finally make a big screen phone that's not awkward or annoying to hold one-handed. The Galaxy S8 Plus is even more impressive, possessing a 6.2-inch Super AMOLED panel. And even though we sound like we're repeating ourselves, despite having more real estate than a majority of the phablets sold today, the Galaxy S8 Plus has a footprint of a 5.5-inch phone, making it the handiest 6-inch device we've ever used. Both phones have a screen-to-body ratio of around 83%, specifically 83.3% for the S8 and 83.9% for the S8 Plus, and aspect ratios of 18.5 by 9. That's a little different from the funky 2:1 display ratio that's present in LG's uber-tall G6, but Samsung assures us that most popular apps scale seamlessly on the phone's displays. Both devices hit all the expected features of a AAA flagship phone. Glass and metal body, check. IP68 water resistance, check. Fingerprint scanner, check. USB Type-C connector, check. Heartbeat sensor, check. And so on and so forth. Samsung loaded both phones with so many features that it'd be easier to list down what they didn't include in the phones. Actually, we're drawing a blank there. Oh well. As expected, Samsung took the iris scanner that's found on the Galaxy Note 7 and made it even better. Aside from the iris scanner, you can now unlock the Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus with your face, since the phone uses facial recognition in addition to the iris scanner. With that, you now have 4 ways to secure and unlock your phone. You have the PIN, pattern or password, the iris scanner, the facial recognition software, and the fingerprint scanner, with 3 of them being biometric. Setting up the iris scanner is pretty straightforward and follows the same process as the one in the Galaxy Note 7. Interestingly, we found that the facial recognition software worked the fastest of the 3 biometric methods. You only need to glance at the phone for it to recognize your face to unlock itself. Of course, it's the least secure. A fingerprint is still better, with the iris scanner being the toughest nut to crack of the 3, though for convenience sake, we'd probably just opt for the facial recognition option. Just like the Note 7, the Galaxy 8s and S8 Plus has Samsung's Knox security software baked in, which allows you to hide sensitive content in password-protected folders to hide them from prying eyes. Samsung's new Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus runs brand new top-of-the-line processors from both Samsung and Qualcomm, built on the cutting-edge 10nm manufacturing process, the Exynos 8895 and the Snapdragon 835, respectively. Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus phones sold in Southeast Asia will have the Exynos 8895 with it, as is Samsung's custom in this part of the world, though you shouldn't be envious at the Qualcomm-equipped phones that the US and China will receive, since the Exynos 8895 is pretty formidable on paper. People looking for crazy 6GB RAM and storage solutions will be disappointed in the S8 and S8 Plus, since both phones come packing just 4GB of RAM and 64GB of expandable storage. Samsung's UI, TouchWiz, has not changed too much, and that's actually a good thing. The Korean company started streamlining and de-bloating TouchWiz with their efforts last year, and this year's iteration is pretty much more of the same. The newest change this year is Bixby, Samsung's own attempt at a machine learning, AI-powered assistant to rival Google's Assistant and Apple's Siri. Samsung says Bixby is able to recognize people, places, and things that you take photos of and show you relevant information based on the images you took, as well as shopping recommendations and accommodations of vacation spots. Sadly, the last feature isn't going to be available in Southeast Asia for now. Bixby will also be able to handle all the things that you're able to via touch on your phone and gets smarter every time you use it. Samsung reused the dual pixel packing f1.7 aperture camera on the Galaxy Note 7 with the Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus. It's not surprising since that camera was one of the best cameras ever graced a mobile phone. The Korean firm did change a few things up with the new flagships in terms of software for the camera though, since Samsung has now included a new multi-frame technology with the cameras on both phones that combines images before, during, and after you press the shutter button to produce a better image overall. While the rear camera has received a few software tweaks, the front camera has been completely overhauled. The front-facing shooter now boasts 8-megapixel resolution sensor with an f1.7 aperture and autofocus capability. In addition, you can now add stickers a la Snapchat to your selfies, with the camera being smart enough to apply animated stickers to at least 5 people in the frame. Along with the launch of the Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus, Samsung will also be introducing a whole slew of accessories with the phone. Several cases, including a cool LED lit one, will be offered to buyers, as well as the funky 2-piece bikini case that can be mixed and matched depending on your mood. There's a new Gear 360 model for the phones as well, and a new improved Gear VR model that has its own controller to combat Google's Daydream efforts. But among the accessories shown to us today by Samsung, the most interesting is DeX, a desktop stand that acts like Microsoft's Continuum concept for its Lumia phones, except the DeX actually works seamlessly with the devices. We'll be doing a separate video for all the accessories. With all the features that new phones have, it's not surprising that the new models have heart-stopping SRPs. The Galaxy S8, for example, will be priced by Samsung in the Philippines at a whopping $39,990, while the Galaxy S8 Plus will be priced even higher at $45,990. Pre-orders for both phones start on April 17 and will run to April 29, with pre-order customers getting a free Bluetooth wireless speaker that's valued at around 5,099 pesos to soften the blow. The phones will hit the market on the first or second week of May. That's pretty much it for this hands-on and initial review of the Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus. As soon as we get our hands on our review unit, we're going to be working on our review for this amazing phone as soon as possible. Thank you very much, guys. My name is John Nieves, signing out.